What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to a brand new football news video where we'll talk about Pep Guardiola potentially moving to Italy to coach one of the big sides in Italy, according to Man City's chief executive officer Ferran Soriano, because Guardiola's contract expires after next season, and I really hope and pray, for the sake of English football and of course for the sake of my favorite club Liverpool, that Guardiola leaves Man City and leaves English football, because until he leaves, Man City will dominate the Premier League, and I think he wants of course to win the Champions League. And let me know guys, would you trade Guardiola leaving English football for Man City winning the Champions League? So would you accept that deal? If Man City win their first Champions League, Guardiola leaves English football. I'm at the moment 50-50 about this. I thought about it, and if it's guaranteed that he leaves English football, it might be good for Liverpool's sake, and I don't really mind Man City winning the Champions League. It's like inevitable with the amount of money that they are throwing at it. PSG and Man City sooner or later will win the Champions League in the next 5, 10, 15 years if they keep just spending ridiculous amounts of money. And the Man City CEO Ferran Soriano was talking at a press conference after they unveiled yet another football club being purchased by the City football group Palermo, who just got promoted to the Serie B. They are a pretty big club in Italy. When they got financial problems, they were like relegated to like the 4th division. So what do you think about this City football group purchasing clubs all over Europe and also North America? They own the Melbourne City, the football club, and also New York City FC in the MLS, but they also own like Troyes in the French league. They also own Granada in the Spanish league. They don't really invest, of course, the amount of money that they invest in Manchester City, but they are just farming players for Man City, and Man City can loan out players to these clubs, and if any of these clubs develop a big talent, then Man City can just buy that talent before anybody else. It's like joining a fast food franchise, but in football terms. That's how I would compare it to somebody who is uninitiated in this, and I don't really like this that is happening to football, that these like oligarchs and oil sheikhs come in and just buy up football clubs, and it happens with a lot of clubs in a lot of countries. But now let's talk mainly about Guardiola. So Ferran Soriano, the Man City chief executive, was asked whether Guardiola could pursue a future in coaching in Italy, where he once spent some days playing football, playing for Brescia and Roma, and he asked if it's sunny in Palermo. Perhaps Guardiola will work here one day. He knows everything we do and he knows Italian football well. Like the others, he's excited about the deal. So maybe he's just talking up Palermo. But I think Guardiola would be interested in coaching in the Serie A, because it's a very tactical league. And also he has won titles in England, in Germany, in Spain. So the last like really big league that is left for him to conquer is Italy. And I think Guardiola would want to do something similar to what Mourinho and Ancelotti has done, and win a major league title in every major league around Europe. And Guardiola is still a young coach, a young manager, so he still has many decades probably ahead of him. And Soriano also laid out the vision for Palermo. He said, "We have a budget which should allow us to remain in Serie B and have a chance to get promoted to Serie A. We have a dream, and we must have ambition, humility, smartness and patience. The stadium is fundamental, and the Barbera Stadium is fantastic. The national team plays here, so there is not much to do in terms of improving it. The important thing is that it will always be full. The most important part of the job is to convince Palermo fans to come to the stadium. We need their passion to make the club grow. That's our main target." The big question is, will Guardiola go to a club which doesn't have a lot of money? I don't think so. Some fans say he should probably go back to Barcelona, which would be a good challenge now for him. I challenge Guardiola to go to a club which is not the richest club in their league and try to win the league with them. Him going to, Barcelona right now to rebuild Barcelona would be actually a really awesome challenge, but I wouldn't think he would go there because they just don't have the financial power of Man City. At Man City, Guardiola can be always bailed out by signing multiple 50, 60, 70 million pound players. And I don't rate Guardiola as highly as Jurgen Klopp or Carlo Ancelotti or even as high as maybe some other coaches. Guardiola is a brilliant manager, but he hasn't done a rebuilding job, and he hasn't done an underdog story where he goes to a club who is not favorites to win the league. And also his record in the Champions League is pretty poor. So until he fixes that, I wouldn't say he's the best manager ever. I still think that's Sir Alex Ferguson and Carlo Ancelotti. And Jurgen Klopp is certainly up there right now among the active managers. And with the resources and the money that he has been given at Liverpool, Jurgen Klopp is certainly the best manager pound for pound when it comes to net spend, because he always loses some of his best players, but he still keeps the team competitive. But let me know what do you think about Guardiola. Do you think he will leave English football in 1 year? Do you think that would be good for the Premier League? I think that it would make the Premier League more competitive actually, because then other teams would have a chance. Chelsea, Man United, Arsenal, Tottenham would certainly be closer to winning the title. If it wasn't for Manchester City, we wouldn't have seen multiple seasons where 95 or 94 or 99 or 97 points won the Premier League title. I think that is the effect of Guardiola. Before and after Guardiola, probably the Premier League will return back to normal level, and 85 to 90 points will win Premier League titles. And yes, we might get a season where 95 points or 98 points win a title, but it wouldn't be consistent. If you look at the past 5 or 6 years and you see how many points Man City and Liverpool got, it's the Guardiola effect, definitely. Also, James Pearce commented on the mood within the Liverpool squad. Some people were worried that Mo Salah's new contract would cause an imbalance in the wage structure, and that other people and other players would complain about Salah's high salary. There's certainly no sense of envy among the other senior players in the Liverpool dressing room, James Pearce wrote in The Athletic. Their attitude is that Salah deserves every penny of his new contract. Salah was eager to commit to a host of performance-related bonuses linked to lofty goals and assist targets, a clear sign of his confidence. If they are triggered, he could earn closer to £400,000 per week. It's certainly refreshing to hear that the rest of Jurgen Klopp's dressing room can appreciate that this is a very special scenario. Salah is certainly in the top 3 best players in the world right now, and he's certainly, in my opinion, the best player in the Premier League last season, and certainly in the top 3, so he deserves a salary at Liverpool to have the highest salary. Probably the whole Liverpool squad know that his contributions are just invaluable, and him scoring on average 30 goals a season is just absolutely out of this world and really remarkable. And also, Darwin Nunez is one of his old coaches from Benfica. Marco Pimenta said something very interesting why Darwin Nunez is relishing working with Liverpool FC now from this season. When I was invited to work in the technical team of head coach Nelson Verissimo in the main team of Benfica, we already knew Darwin Nunez. We knew he was a player with great physical ability, tall, strong, fast, with a tremendous capacity to score goals. Since the first day, we could see that we were dealing with a different player, with a will to always want more and to always strive for greatness. He was extremely motivated. The first season was a time to adapt to a different football and social context in Portugal. And Darwin Nunez had a pretty tough first season. In his first 4 games, he only got like 5 assists but didn't score, and he had a slow start when it comes to scoring goals, which worried the Benfica fans because it was their record goal scorer, and they expected instantly goals and contributions from him. But it took one full season for Darwin Nunez to get his confidence back, and in the end, in the first season, he got like 13 goals and 12 assists, something like that. Second season, he really exploded. 34 goals, I think 5 or 6 assists. In the first season, because he was a little bit low on confidence, sometimes instead of shooting he passed the ball, that's why he got many assists, but he didn't score as many goals. In his second season he was much more confident in front of goal, and also they worked very closely with Jorge Jesus, the previous Benfica manager, on Darwin Nunez finishing and runs and touches. He still of course has a lot of things to improve on, but under Jurgen Klopp this will be the perfect environment for him. The second season was a time to assert himself and put all his quality on the pitch, and for that his will to improve and grow was decisive. On and off the pitch, manager Nelson Verissimo and his technical team tried to develop all his qualities in the different areas, technically and physically, but everything is mainly due to Darwin Nunez and his capacity to work and his winning mentality as well. And Marco Pimenta also said, in my opinion, both players, Luis Diaz and Darwin Nunez, are top footballers, and Liverpool have in their hands two of the best future players in the world. Darwin Nunez is 3 years younger than Luis Diaz, but they both like to drift to the left side and then come inside and shoot on their favorite right foot. So it will be very interesting how tactically Liverpool will play next season, and how they will line up, and how they will use both players with similar qualities. Of course, Darwin Nunez is more of an out-and-out striker, but they both like to drift to the left, so they need to strike up an understanding and try to work this out in pre-season. So it will be fascinating what the Jurgen Klopp will come up with tactically to accommodate both players and to get the best out of both players. And Pimenta also said, at this level I believe Haaland and Nunez will both adapt quickly. These clubs are top clubs, the teammates will help, the fans will support them to succeed. They are two of the best young players in the world, and it's going to be a spectacle for all Liverpool and Man City fans in the years to come. I believe Darwin will write his own story in the Premier League and in the Champions League. The future belongs only to him. I think compared to Cavani and Suarez, he's a different player, but with a similarity, he's a goal machine like these two great players. So I think that's a very good, insightful interview from Pimenta, and I think that his former coach clearly knows what Darwin Nunez is all about. So if he thinks that he will be a success in English football, then I have even more confidence, and we know what Jurgen Klopp can do with these young players and how we can develop them. So of course you shouldn't expect him to instantly hit 20-25 goals in his first season, but I wouldn't be surprised if he bangs in a lot of goals. The one thing is, will he regress to the norm, or will he keep continuing this great finishing that he showed at Benfica? Because at Benfica I think he scored 6 more goals than what his XG suggested that he should have scored. So is that like ruthless finishing regularly, or is that just like one great season from Darwin Nunez and then he will regress to the norm? We will find that out, and I think how he starts his career at Liverpool in the Premier League will be very telling. But you always should give a young player 1 or 2 seasons to find his feet in a brutally competitive and difficult Premier League. And the Mirror newspaper is saying that Liverpool are weighing up the possibility of allowing Nat Phillips to go out on loan to Bournemouth for another season. Liverpool wanted and they were ready to cash in and sell the 25-year-old centre-back, but Phillips' impressive form has prompted a rethink at Liverpool, and there is a belief that Phillips could develop into a long-term replacement for Joao Matip. Phillips signed a new 4-year deal with Liverpool last summer after impressing Jurgen Klopp during the injury crisis where Van Dijk, Matip and Joe Gomez were all out. He was allowed to go out on loan to Bournemouth, and Phillips has settled both on and off the pitch at Bournemouth, and Liverpool are now considering the option of allowing him to return for a season in the top flight in a deal which would see Bournemouth pay a loan fee. And this would actually just give Phillips another year where he could get experience in the Premier League and he could get a lot of playing time, and we would still have Gomez, Matip, Konate and Virgil van Dijk. So 4 very, very capable centre-backs, and then maybe if Matip, if the age catches up with him maybe 1 year later we can just replace Matip with Phillips in the centre-back spots. And Dominic King, who I respected a lot as a journalist, said in the Daily Mail that for Liverpool it was actually cheaper to extend Mo Salah's contract than to replace him, because over 3 years the Mo Salah's contract is around £63 million in total, and if Liverpool wanted to sign one of the best strikers in the world right now, it would be 120 million plus the wages as well. When you have already got one of the best players in the world, it makes economic sense to do the deal, to keep him and to sign him on a new contract. He wants to be the top goal scorer of all time for Liverpool. That tells you what his mind is like and his approach to work. There will be no way he thinks he has made it now. He has signed his contract, because Mo Salah is one of the most fearless competitive players that Liverpool have ever seen, and his conduct on the pitch, off the pitch, how he conditions himself, how he behaves off the pitch, how professional he is. Salah could go on until he's 37, 38, 39 years old, and that's absolutely brilliant. And also, just to end on a feel-good, wholesome story, Fabinho and his wife, Rebecca Tavares, was on a holiday in the Balearic Islands, and they bumped into a Liverpool fan and his wife. The Liverpool fan asked for a photo, then they started talking, and in the end they started playing football a little bit on the beach, and then Fabinho and his wife had dinner with this Liverpool fan and his wife. What an experience that must have been for the Liverpool fan. I'm actually pretty jealous, and also good on Fabinho for accommodating this Liverpool fan so much. So that's a brilliant story to end this video on. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. Have a nice day. See you later. Goodbye.